All right. Hello again. Again, for those who didn't hear me earlier, welcome to the Voices of Philly Soul Mental Health Awareness Panel. We thank you so much for joining us. There is an amazing show. Also, Nikki Powerhouse is in the building. She's going to be performing in a bit. So I'm going to pass this mic over to the lovely, our beautiful, amazing sister in media and just overall, and you're a Virgo, so shout out to us. But Roxi Fab, turn over the mic.
Thank you. It's Carla Gamble. Well, ladies, I'm so excited. First of all, I just want to say how excited I am for all of us to be here for the Voices of Philly Soul and this discussion of mental health and how it affects all of us. Because somehow, some way, it affects us, you know, a different way. But whether it's your family member or it's yourself, somehow we're all dealing with something. So I'm just excited for us to have this discussion from everyone, and we have a whole bunch of questions, and you guys answered some things with your QR code, so make sure you did that if you haven't done so already. So I'm gonna have ladies introduce themselves so they can say a little bit of who they are and what they do. So I'm gonna start with you.
Sorry for that awkwardness, guys. How you doing today? Hi, everybody. My name is Ciara. I'm well, thank you. My name is Ciara Chantelle. I am a spoken word artist here in Philly. I am also a visual artist. I teach youth, middle school students, as well as college and university students creative self-expression courses. And pretty much all of my work just revolves around mental health awareness, self-rehabilitation, and just self-authenticity, self-expression.
Hi everyone, my name is Frenchie. I am a singer and a Broadway performer. I've been on Broadway, played the fairy godmother of Cinderella, just finished playing Sophia in the Color Purple musical. I also work with the youth. I have taught at middle school, pre-K, they're so squishy at that age. And I also was a theater professor at my alma mater, Howard University, and I am developing the musical theater curriculum for the Shakespeare Theater Company presently. Most of my work is centered around self-acceptance and body positivity, and just all around Black girl magic.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen that are here. My name is Lady Alma. I'm a singer-songwriter, international artist. I do too, at times, work with the youth. I'm just going to echo what it is giving them encouragement to be who they want to be and respect our elders, because I'm big on the respecting of elders. So I try to, implement that in young people, but I'm pretty much just a person who just loves to encourage through song, at times through conversation, and was a caretaker for 10 years to my mother, and she passed away so that I could come back out and be a caretaker to everyone else. So let's heal together today, y'all.
Praises to Almighty God. I'm honored to be here with all of you today and grateful to Carla Gamble, who is family, to me, to my family, for having the wisdom, the presence of mind to have this very important conversation. If you are a human being with a pulse, more than likely you've experienced trauma. Well, if you're Black in America, I know you've experienced trauma and drama. It is just what has happened to us as people of color, not just here in America, but throughout the diaspora. The fact that just the very color of our skin creates an issue for us as we walk around this planet, and it impacts our mental, emotional, spiritual, physical health for sure. I'm honored to be an adopted daughter of Philadelphia. My mother tells me I was conceived here when my daddy worked at the Navy Yard. But I was born in Queens and St. Albans, raised in the Bronx and Harlem. But I fell in love with a man from Philadelphia, and I've stayed here. It's an honor to be one of the voices of Philly Soul, especially with my beloved sisters. I purposely had my sisters, Ursula and Alma, sit. So we get fangirls sitting next to you. Hi, I'm Ursula Rucker. Yeah, look me up. You are asked. We can't say everything. I've done a lot of things, and all the things I do are, I'm a poet, okay? That's my mother of 4 sons. That's, Philly born and raised. All those are super profoundly important and very much part of who I am. And then I always like to say a poet for, by, and with and about the people. So, and that's all of us, all of us that have, you got compassion in your heart, or if you don't, you're interested in building it up. You're interested in building your good intentions and actions out here. And the way that I do it a lot is with poetry and music, or just getting on a megaphone and saying whatever the hell I want to say, because I'm from Philly and that's what we learn how to do. And I'm a poet, so I do it well. Thank you for having us and having this. This is so beautiful to see all of us together here on this day or any day, but thank you.
Okay. So for those who don't know, my name is Carla Gamble. I am a singer-songwriter. Thank you. I have been embraced by these women right here. And I know them and have known and networked with them for quite a while, even before I met some of them in person. But the conversation and the connectivity of just sisterhood and connecting to them through conversation, shows, media, music, importantly, and entertainment, I am just honored. And I knew that it should be them, it should be them. So I'm just super excited. Me and my partner, Nina, are a team together. We do this. Thank you. We do this first of all, we're God's children, and we just really have a mission. We have a mission, and what we're supposed to be doing on this earth, that's what we're doing. So I'm just so grateful to have the talent, the time, the resources, the Kimmel Center. This is beautiful. Shout out to Phil. This is beautiful, so thank you all so much. Okay, Nina said. We're a team, so you got it. Back to you, Roxi.
No, right? No, I'm not doing it, right? First, give it up for the ladies. So we're going to jump right into it, all right? I don't want to, hold your anxiety any longer. I want you to just jump right into it. So first, we're going to talk about work-life balance, family, friends, and social life. So I'm going to ask maybe 3 of the ladies, whichever one wants to jump in. Can you share an experience from your career when support from your family and friends had a positive influence during a critical moment? Who would like to jump in on the panel? Ciara, you look like you want to say something. It's okay, it's all right. It's all right, Ciara.
Alright, so initially when I heard the question, my first thought, and in full transparency, my first thought was, well, I don't think of family first when I think of support, right? So, and I think that's a big thing. Myself, I come from a family where your whole life is dedicated to serving your family. You kind of forget what you're supposed to do. This life is to be grateful for everything that everyone before you kind of brought to you and built for you. So I do think that I look to my community of friends for that support, whether that be physical, whether that be newly online, because the internet can be really weird sometimes. But I will say this. So throughout my childhood, I did have parents who were very much workaholics because they had to be, you know, and this is not a blame thing, but I spent a lot of time by myself on my own. And that's where a lot of my art and kind of just where my mental health and intention comes from, all of the solitude that I was kind of forced to go through as a child. But I just remember having teachers and mentors and students. I went to Girls High. We actually graduated from here, which was really, really exciting. But there was just a community of women. There were people in the world. There was what I like to call your spiritual tribe, who were just like, hey, I see you. You know, others may not see you, but this is what you're supposed to be doing. I can see it, even though you don't, even with these circumstances, with this environment, with your trauma, with your childhood, despite anything, I see you. And it's so interesting because we want these things from our mom and our dad. We want these things from our family members. Why can't you see me? I am your blood. So when you hear these things from outside, it doesn't necessarily hit as hard, I think. Sometimes we forget to be as grateful for that. It's just as impactful. But I will say that most of that random stranger mentor support is absolutely how I got here today. It's these adults, these people who didn't know me, these God-fearing people were just like, no, that's it. And I was like, okay, somebody, you know, and that's so beautiful. So I think those are positive experiences. It's a collective, but it just happens so often.
So I don't know how many of you who are here know my story, but what my first introduction to the mainstream world was when I was on season 2 of American Idol. Yeah. And that was pre-Fantasia, pre-Jennifer Hudson. There was no Lizzo. It was me. And, you know, I don't know if you remember me getting kicked off of the show for taking topless photos. This was pre-Kardashian. And so having that experience, pictures that I took when I was 5 years before I was on the show, they never surfaced on the internet. I told the producers about the pictures beforehand. They let me continue to compete on the show and then made a spectacle of kicking me off of it. When there were white women contestants who had done porn and were strippers and they were allowed to stay on the show. And then of course, you know, Ryan Seacrest produced the Kardashians reality show, who became famous for making homemade porn. And I just showed my titties, which you're welcome. And so, you know, there was a lot of controversy surrounding, you know, that experience. And, you know, I was a baby. I was like 22, something like that. And having that be my first experience in the public eye, you know, experiencing public humiliation. And then also watching other artists benefit from that humiliation, because Idol had to prove that they weren't racist or waitist after that. And then that Fantasia and Jennifer Hudson happened the year after. And now all these years later, we have Lizzo, and we celebrate all of this body positivity. And, you know, it has been a challenge at times watching people be celebrated for things that I spent the first 10 years of my career being shamed for. And so, you know, the support of other women, other Black women. I too am an adopted daughter of Philadelphia. I'm originally from Inglewood, California. I went to college in DC, and after, you know, living and working in New York for many years, I moved to Philly. I've been here for almost 6 years now, and this has become my second home. And I think that healing through that experience, overcoming what public humiliation does to your self-esteem and your sense of self and your ability to trust, and all, I think in some ways it even held me back from pursuing certain opportunities because it traumatized my perception of what being in the public eye would feel like as a fat Black woman. And I don't know if I would have made it to the other side of that without the Black women who held me in sisterhood. Women like this queen sitting next to me who call and check on me all the time and speak life into me. My therapist is a Black woman, you know. Black women have just saved my life over and over again as I've healed through difficult things. And I think if we're being honest, like that American Idol thing was, impactful. And I'm really grateful that years later, I'm at peace with it. And I'm at peace with myself, because, Black women have taught me that, a big part of self-acceptance is accepting, the outcomes of your choices, and accepting the things that maybe you can't control. Don't waste your time being angry about it. But all of that to say, it was the support of my friends and my family, my sister friends, other Black women in this business who have supported and loved on me that helped me heal through that was a critical experience of mine. I hope that made sense. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so we take a look. Anybody else before I go next? All right, we're going to take a look at the poll that we have up here. And the question again, how important is having support from your friends and family? And a little over 70% of you said it was very important. And a little under 30 said somewhat important. So again, we all, have different ways of support, and I will share my brief experience as well. I definitely went through something, very toxic to me, and my father was like right there. Able to call and cry on the phone and just say, look, I just need you to be a dad for today. Just a dad. Don't be, all that, how they get, overbearing, and I just need you to listen, just be a dad and just chill out, and, he was able to do that. And then again, it's just some friends, but a lot of people don't understand, so if they're not going through or have been through something similar, some of them don't get it. And it's very difficult to share things with friends. So I'm one that keeps it bottled up, which I know isn't good either. I'm working on that. But I definitely keep things bottled up and then it explodes in the end. So I know that part's not good. But friends everyone is different. And again, I just really feel like sometimes if people haven't gone through that, then they really can't really understand what you're going through. So I totally get that. All right, so our next question. What advice can you offer someone who may be having a difficult time balancing an active social life, family life, while maintaining and pursuing a career?
Do you care about what you're doing? And if say for instance, because we do a particular thing, we meaning artists, activists, etc., we do a particular thing that requires that we completely care about what we're doing, and remember that we care about what we're doing and who we are within what we're doing in order to continue doing it. I have 4 sons. Hey, I've been around the how. People ask me how. Hey, look, I can't really tell you. I can tell you that I keep my heart and my good intention in it, and that even when I'm messing up, yes, Frenchie, Alma also, we could go on, okay? Alma has kept me alive over the past 2 years after losing my mom. So we have our people, but we do a particular thing, and whatever it is that you do, right? Like, what advice if you have an active, I don't know what that means, an active, I don't know, could that mean like PTSD things popping off every 2 weeks in your life while you're trying to do this art and raising kids? Active could mean anything. But that was my first off the dome. I think that's required for all of us to be together out here. I feel this energy happening in the room, and then it's always like, when we do all of these events, moments, amazing things, Dyana Williams, so many of me, I would just interview you. How do you do it all? How have you done it all? And loving, because that's what we want. And that like, how can we take it out of this room? So when we all do these events, we're here, okay, it was great. We leave and everything, and then like, how do we continue it? But yeah, anyway, that's my answer.
It's funny because she mentioned Dyana, and I was in my mind, I'm saying the same thing, like, you do so much, and for so long, and with so much grace, You know, seriously, you really do. And I know I've told you that, and I'm just gonna say it again, because I really truly mean it. I'm not gonna tear, because that's how I get, but I really truly mean it. You know, we never see you stressed. We never see that, you know, and I don't know how you balance it.
Well,
I know with God,
yeah.
let me put that first. I know with God, we can do all things,
Yeah.
you know, but I needed to ask, how do you balance that? Because I follow you, and even though, you know, I look and I'm like, okay, how can I be like that? How can I be like that? You know, I study you. When I was working near you, I always listened to you speak, you know, and whenever someone says, how do I speak? I want to be on the radio. I always say that, listen to Dyana Williams. I say, she never, if you listen to her and even watch her videos, she never, never.
Hilarious.
Never, because she takes that, I call it, she takes that pregnant pause, and then she'll just start her sentence again, you know, but again, and then it's comprehending. It's not flying where you can't understand what she's saying, but it's comprehending to where you understand every single word that she's saying. So I tell people to study that. So please, tell us how you balance all of that.
Okay, balance right now. Thank you, Roxi. I appreciate that. Very proud of you as well. And of course, I'm your father, a legend in Philadelphia and Carltown. People should know that. Great broadcaster. Paved the way for you, me, all of us. Well, first of all, as I said, God is important to me, and I respect everybody's rights. Everybody believes different things. But I'm empowered by my faith. I'm empowered by prayer, by pensive thinking, by observing people around me who I see moving through this world. And I know it is not easy, as I said when we were first introducing, and I didn't say, I'm a broadcaster, I'm a media coach, I'm a music activist, I'm the co-founder of June Black Music Month. We're about to celebrate our 45th anniversary. So that is very important. But I must say, because you know, I get that a lot. People do not see the stress. I can assure you that I live with stress. As Alma knows, because we talk about this, I'm caretaking my 90-year young mother who has Alzheimer's. And being a caretaker is not an easy thing. It is not. And I will tell you, a few months ago, I was having a real meltdown. You didn't see it on Instagram, you didn't see it on social media, because I was living it privately and going through it. A few years ago, I lost my youngest son, Issa Saladin Gamble, a sudden death, a surprising moment. My son suffered with mental illness, which is why when you both invited us to this panel, I was like, I definitely want to talk about it, because there's not enough discussion in our community about mental, emotional health. And physical health as well. We just don't talk about it a lot. We just move through this world and we get done what we have to do. But I will tell you that during this period of grief, I made the decision to not just cave into my grief. I was in therapy until the day I got word that my son had died. And I stopped therapy that day because I felt like I needed to go inward. I needed to understand and do my best to process what had happened, what was happening, and I just went deep in. And I cried, I laughed, I remember fond things about my son, but he suffered with mental illness. And as a result of the coping with the mental illness, turned to drugs, so then we had a drug situation going on. That was not always the case, but that turned into something in and of itself. And so I literally locked myself up in a hotel room for a couple of days, turned my phone off, slept, cried, reflected, talk to people very, very close to me that I can just be vulnerable with, fall apart, and just say I'm hurting, I'm suffering, I'm sad, and own those things because they're all part of life. And conversely, sorrow, sadness, all those things, I'm a joie de vivre individual. I'm here to live fully. And what my son's death did for me, the commitment I made to him and my family and to myself, was to live life more fully and present. My son is with me. He's here right now. Hey, what's up, He's here. He goes with me everywhere. Everywhere I go, he is there. So the thing we have to do collectively is find our self-love, how we can love up on ourselves, especially when we're feeling defeated, dark, negative, whatever it is that isn't very pleasant. Because it's part of life. It's the way this thing is set up. I question it sometimes, but it is what it is. And so finding methods to sit quietly in your thoughts and say, I am worthy of good, I am worthy of rest, I am worthy of love, I am worthy of all the things that I desire, and then working on actualizing them. We don't always recognize our power, but we are powerful. God gave us, first of all, life force, intellect, spirit. We have tools that we need to use to assist us through navigating the process of this experience of life. Life is death. Life is living. So we're born, we live, and we die. I don't know anybody who's gotten out of that formula. Do you? No, please let me know. But that's just the way this thing is set up. And even now, as I look at my mama, she asked me this morning when I was leaving, she said, what day is today? What month is today? My mother is oblivious to the time-space issue that most of us that are not having Alzheimer's, dementia, deal with. And you know, I said to her, I said, Mama, you worked all your life. You raised me. My mother was a professor of nursing. At her retirement ceremony, I cried. And why did I cry profusely? Because she was just mommy to me. But to the many nurses that came back during the course of her 40-year teaching career as a college professor of nursing, a lot of those men and women came back to thank my mother for putting them on the path of their fulfillment of helping other people. My mother's Puerto Rican. She was part of the team that did the HIPAA laws when we go in the hospital and to the doctor. So not only was she an educator that produced other people who are taking care of us, but she also worked on the law that protects our information. So a historic woman. So I told her this morning, I said, Mama, you don't have to be tethered to time anymore. You have nowhere you have to go unless you want to, and you have nothing you have to do unless you want to. I said, Mama, you raised me. I think you did a pretty decent job. I'm very perfectly imperfect. But at the end of the day, all you gotta do, Mama, is do whatever you wanna do. Whatever you can do, I'm here for it. And I know I'm going a little long-winded, but I wanna say, back to the self-love, when I told you I locked myself up in a hotel room for a few days because I was losing my power and my focus. You know, it's like when your car runs low on gas, you get the reserve light. That's when you're supposed to go fill up your tank, right? Okay, or when your car says check engine, there's an issue, go ahead and ignore it if you like. See what'll happen. Same thing is applicable with us. When we know that we're suffering, when we know that we're challenged, that's when we have to sit down and do something that enriches us, that lifts us, whether it's a massage. Me, I love going to the nail salon. I love getting a pedicure. I love going to my hairstylist. I love going for a walk by myself. I love reading. Reading enriches me. I'm reading a stack of books now, put one down, pick up another one as my interest wanes. But at the end of the day, self-love is going to help you in the process of grief, of low self-esteem, of health issues, of lack of love, of all of those things that ail us. We gotta go back in and love up on ourselves. Do whatever it is that brings you peace and joy. Now, if it's negative, don't do it, okay? Don't hurt yourself in the process of trying to get back to your joy. So, I just wanted to, and Frenchie said it, if you need therapy, there's no shame. Black people, we live in an environment where we think it's a little shameful to say, I'm in therapy. Look, white people do it all the time, okay? And for us, it becomes an issue of finances, of lack of insurance that will cover mental health care. But I want to tell you, for those of you, well, I'll wait to share that, because I want to give some resources other than self-resources that we can avail ourselves to.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I think it's really important for us to hear, women say, I deal with stress. I'm hurting, this shit ain't easy. Because I think far too often, I think women put too much pressure on themselves to try to manage it all, because those who manage it all well, they assume that you all don't have those moments. And so thank you so much for sharing that with us, because the reality is that sometimes you do have to shut everything down. I do believe we can have it all, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do everything right now.
And what you went through is an abomination, and it's, again, another incident of blatant racism. Like you said, there were other contestants on the show who were doing much more than what you had done, and it's the same shame that Vanessa Williams experienced as the first Miss America.
And they just apologized to her.
They treated her like she had killed somebody. Meanwhile, we have, and all due respect to people's political beliefs, but we have a former president who's running again, who said that he felt he could kill somebody, shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and get away with it. Whoa. Okay? And he's also said, I get back in office, everybody's getting arrested. I'm putting them all down. What kind of madness is that? But that's half of our country supports and believes in Donald Trump. Half of our country. So we're in some deep stuff here that is going to require us to find how we can get to our personal oasis. That's what I'm saying. We must create our personal oasis, because we are living in a desert. We're living in a desert with the conditions that Black people are exposed to, not just in America, but throughout the world. Great film, Origin, Ava DuVernay's new film. I think it's getting ready to stream. If you haven't seen it, it should be a primer for every person alive. Origin is based on the book by Isabella Wilkinson,
The Origins
of Our Discontent. Yes, it's a great book, but the film, for those who have not read the book, definitely get it. Because it's what we experience as Black people in America. We're dealing with systemic racism, we're dealing with historic racism, generational racism that continues. And who would not be depressed and upset and mentally disturbed by those things? We have people who are criticizing a woman's right. We have people who are criticizing people who, same-sex people who love each other. What part of the game is it that we are being critical of people who, come on, all these isms are bringing us down, or we need to be bringing us up.
I love it. So it's crazy because I'll share mine briefly so we can move on. I haven't really expressed it, but my father is in like early stage dementia. And as an only child, it's killing me daily. I mean, daily. you know, for him to ask me, where's your sister? You know, or why's your grandmother sitting there? And my grandmother been dead. You know, this is my father. You know, this guy has been, I mean, like, all over. You know, he's done so much for Philly. He's this, he's that, he's all these other things to me. And every single day, it kills me, you know. And he got hit with COPD. He'd been smoking cigarettes since he was 17, you know, but he was always on the move. Always a lean guy, you know, 6'3", 33 waist since I've been born, you know. But when COVID hit and the elderly had to stay in the house, it hit him. All of a sudden, COPD set in, you know, and my dad went from like 180 to like 116. And it's just because of that, you know, so it's just been like the worst. And again, that happened during COVID. And then there was other things that happened in my own life, you know, working in radio, and the things were just hitting me like left, right, center, all at the same time, you know, and it's been difficult to still get through those things in 2024, you know. It's just been tough, been really tough. So I've just been deciphering, okay, heal from this and move on, and heal from, because my dad's different, you know what I mean? That's my dad. So no matter what it is, I have to be there for that. But those other things, you know, are gone. So, but it's definitely difficult. So I can relate to what Dyana was saying just a little bit. But it's definitely, you know, something that I don't talk to anyone about. Because again, what can I do to help? Look, there's nothing you can do. You know, there's nothing you can't help me. There's nothing that you can do. So, you know, I've been dealing with it my own kind of way. But I know that it's something that I have to open up about and talk to other people who are dealing with it as well, so then I can get through it without, you know,
But you have to, Roxi, you have to, I'm going to tell you what's helping me is you've got to find your village. You've got to find your people who have been through it. I learned so many of my friends very close to my age, some younger. I'm 70. So I'm grown, I'm good and grown. I mean, I'm good and grown. But I have other friends whose parents were going through dementia, Alzheimer's as well, death, severe illness, and talking to them always made me feel better.
Yes.
Yeah, when you hear about what other people are going through, then sometimes you say, and I'm an only child as well. So the responsibility of my mama is mine. However, there are other people who are empathetic. Like I said, Alma went, she was a caretaker for 10 years. I'm in year 4. And like I said, I have my moments where I'm an impatient person. So it's hard to be impatient with a person who has Alzheimer's because they're repeating over and over. And I'm like, Mama, we talked about this 20 minutes ago and I'm repeating it again. But you know, you gotta find people that you can pour into, who can pour back into you and lift you up. This is, again, in the Black community, it's kind of shameful for us to talk about, I'm going through it. And especially Black women, because most of the people in the room are Black women today. We are so used to being super women.
yes, we are.
We are so used to doing the most. We're mosters. And where do we get it from? Our mamas, our aunties, our grandmothers. We watch them. We watch them without men. We watch them without support. We watch them. I call it grustling when you're grinding and hustling. And so
I like that. I like that.
all right, most of us stay on the grustle. We don't have a lot of time to chill, kick back, and be like, oh, I'm going through it, I'm depressed. And that's the other thing. Many of us, and I'm gonna own to this, since my son died, I've been a functional, depressed person. Now, let me just say, in my depression, there's still a great deal of joy. But I'm still dealing with the loss of a child. No parent should ever have to bury a child. No parent should have to go through that. And no child should have to bury a parent. Okay? It's a painful thing to lose a loved one. But if you believe in the eternal grace of God and love, love continues. It's in another dimension. That's how I choose to look at it and live with it. When I said to you, my son Issa is here, believe it, he's here. Let me tell you this really quick. The other day, I'm at breakfast with a girlfriend, and Teddy Pendergrass's widow, Joan Pendergrass, calls me. And I said, hey girl, can I call you back? And she said, sure. So I put the phone down and go back to my breakfast with my girlfriend, and we're talking. Phone rings again. It's Joan Pendergrass. I'm like, I just told her I'd call her back. Another phone call. Joan Pendergrass again. Now I say to my girlfriend, hold up, I gotta call her, find out what's wrong, because I just told her I can't talk. And I call her back, I said, Joni, are you okay? What's up? And she said, I didn't call you. I said, what? Girl, I got 4 or 5 phone calls from you. She said, I didn't call you. I did not call you. I was like, well, okay. She said, that was Teddy. That was Teddy calling you. Oh, what? Because I'm telling you, I picked up the phone, nobody was there. I didn't hear Joan's voice, nothing. And she said, that was Teddy. And I was like, okay, I received it.
Right.
And you know what? Joan had asked me and her attorney, Helen McCrary Salahuddin, to help get a street named down in this area for Teddy Pendergrass. And I accepted it. When his wife told me that was Teddy calling me, I said, let me write this email to Kenyatta Johnson right now. Teddy done called me 4 or 5 times saying get it done. So when I talk about our loved ones, I went with it. I told her, I said, I'm accepting that Teddy is like, write that email, get my street name down here near Patty's. Turn them on. I just wanted to share that.
I just wanted to interject that I was the guilty party that didn't tell anybody the whole time I took care of my mother. I would not reach out to people. I did not tell folks how I was feeling. And it even went as far as me contemplating, and I did try to commit suicide. So I'm a product of suicide, but I'm also a product of God saying not yet. I was one of the fortunate ones that did not, succeed at doing what I thought was best for me and what I thought was best for everybody else. If I'm not here, then I don't have to tell you that I'm going through it. If I'm not here, you don't have to see the stress and the pressure on me. If I'm not here, then maybe somebody else could take care of my mom, because I felt at that particular time I was failing her. But it wasn't that. It was she was preparing herself to go because she was ready. But she wanted to make sure that I was ready. And so my advice to people that are suffering in silence, please do not no longer suffer in silence. There are definitely people, villages, professional help that is available. And if you follow the love, never look for acceptance of any kind. Accept yourself first, but follow the love. Follow where you feel comfortable. Follow where you feel when you tell someone about the idea that you have, that you want to do, and they support it. That's where you go. Sometimes it's not family.
Right. Yes.
Where we want to believe that it's Aunt Jessie and sister whoever, sometimes they're too close. So don't suffer in silence.
That message for you, Roxi Fab.
Okay.
Do not
Suffer in silence. There's somebody, for all of us,
Yeah.
there's somebody who can receive and take some of that burden off of you and make you feel better about your situation. We all have situations. Think about your life. We all have stuff. We all have stuff. But guess what? There is a solution. To every problem, I believe there is a solution.
And even, I feel like grief can show up in so many different ways, even if it's not grieving the loss of a parent or a child. You know, I'm approaching the 3-year anniversary of having a hysterectomy. And I went through a very real grieving process, grieving the loss of my ability to have children. I don't have children. So that was, I had to join a support group and find my history sisters and find other childless women who had to have hysterectomies. Not only grieving the loss of my ability to have children, but grieving the loss of body parts.
Yeah.
Like they took my uterus and my cervix.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so grief encompasses so many different life experiences. And, you know, like they were saying, find your support system. My friend Nicole, who's sitting over there, I had my hysterectomy while we were quarantined. So, and I'm originally from Inglewood, California, so I was 3,000 miles away from my family in the house by myself, healing from a hysterectomy. Nicole called me and she was like, "Hey love, I'm outside your window." This is what we still didn't know what to do about COVID and how to be safe. And just her calling and saying, "Hey girl, I'm outside your window." I looked out the window, she was down there. It fortified me in a way that I really needed. And it was just a small thing. And you know, when you are in the dark, little small rays of light will peek through, like that moment. And you have to lean into that light. And in time, it will expand. But I'm in a support group now for childless women. And I'm also in a support group for people with Graves' disease. I got diagnosed with Graves' disease in October. And, you know, I'm grieving the loss of what life felt like before that diagnosis. Grateful that I can still sing. You know, Graves' disease is a thyroid disease. My thyroid presses right up against my vocal cords. And so the fact that I can still sing is a miracle to me. And something that I don't take for granted at all. And, you know, so I'm just saying, you know, lean into those little rays of light that peek through. They will expand. And hold on, don't take for granted those people who really show up for you. People I didn't even know sent me care packages, sent me food. Again, Black women have saved my life.
All right.
You know? That's Nicole, stand up, sis.
It's crazy because I'm listening to each and every one of you and I'm like, wow, okay. Now I have children, but I did have to have a full hysterectomy. And you have so many people, you know. Does it make you feel less of a woman? Are you less of all of those things? And I'm like, okay, so I'm supposed to feel like that? Yeah. You know, I thought I was just supposed to feel a couple pounds lighter and not have a menstrual. I thought I was going to be good. Like, you know, it's so much that you deal with and think about because society puts that out there and you suck it in.
Even society tells us that women's lives aren't valuable unless they're somebody's mama or somebody's wife. Yeah. You know, an older Black woman dies and then all you hear are people praising her for all the ways that she put herself last for everyone else. And what being childless and losing my ability to have children has taught me, it has forced me to understand that I'm enough by myself. I'm enough.
Yes, you are.
I don't have to be nobody else's nothing for my life to be valuable. And so I just hope that all Black women know that your lives are valuable. You don't have to put yourself last. You know, you don't. You are no longer obligated to do that. Like they were talking about how we watched our grandmothers and our mothers do it. And we don't have to do that. We gonna unlearn that.
That's right.
This generation. You know?
We are. You are. Yes.
Because, you know, I hear this all the time, be strong, be strong. We do not have to be strong. Not all the time. I'm so tired of, you're such a strong, okay? But y'all can see when I break down. When I'm in my No more on your stuff.
That's right.
If you want to break down,
You are
put
allowed.
just don't entertain it for long. Because it's entertaining. Let me tell you something. I am a product of that. It's very entertaining to say, woe is me.
Yeah.
It's very entertaining. However, in these latter days of my life, I am learning to reach out to people who understand what I'm going through. Because that's one thing. We gotta stop telling people our problems that have not been through. You gotta reach out again. Follow the love. You have to, because they're not going to just tell you what you need to hear, but what you want to hear, but they're going to tell you what you need to hear. With someone else, the first thing that's going to come out is pity. We don't need the pity either. We just need encouragement, and we need to know that we matter. And if I gotta write it in every 1,000 songs that I write that we matter, then that's my new thing of writing that we matter. However, any chance I get that platform though now to do it, besides just doing it in song, I'm gonna let us know we matter. You matter.
Yeah.
Sis, you matter. All you beautiful women and that nice gentleman who stayed around with us today. I'm talking to you. Yes. But you matter as well as everyone in this room. Y'all all matter, because that's another thing. We also make black men not want to get help. Because we want them to be strong too. But we gotta help support them. And while we getting help, back them up too, and let them know they matter. That's why these young men are out here sagging their pants and getting all kinds of advice from people who show a small, remote piece of love that might not even be love. But because it's different from what they've been getting, they will embrace it. So, work on ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't have to be strong all the time.
No, we don't. Now, we already jumped basically into, we jumped into our next, we jumped into our next session, skipped a question or two, we already handled it, which, as we're all talking about, life be lifing. Is life lifing right now? Yes. Oh my gosh, so that's our next thing, life be lifing, which we've been talking about grief, anxiety, as well as depression. As you can see, we all have it, and it's not, we put on this facade because again, we feel like we have to be so strong all the time. So, when you're posting on social media or even if you're outside, you're always that, and and inside you're like, it's so difficult to get that balance. And again, I know mine personally is because again, I talk to my closest friends, but again, it's not, they've dealt with death, and death with depression, anxiety, don't get me wrong, but certain things are different with everyone,
We need to stop entertaining that. We need to stop entertaining that.
You saw that?
We need to stop entertaining it because it isn't reality.
Yeah.
I know that we got into a place in our lives when reality TV started coming on. We based our opinions on how the people who wrote the storylines to these folks. So now we don't like that girl because of how they presented her. Or we like that girl because of how they presented her. The point I'm making is about that social media thing. We have to take it with a spoonful of salt or sugar, whatever you like, because every day is not a great day.
Yes. Yeah.
Everybody don't always have money. Even the millionaire don't always have money. So I think when we stop entertaining and when we stop praising what we see on social media, because that's another form of putting certain folk in depression. They are already depressed, and then they see, oh, their girlfriend, oh, she's going to Dubai, oh, she's going to Miami, oh, and all that might have happened 5 years ago, and she just decided to put it out. Right. Like, if we stop imitating certain things, I think, things will be, maybe not all the way different, but, we will kind of discern. There's discernment when we're looking at these pictures and reading these posts. Discern between those words that stood out to you. Look at the words that don't stand out. Because they could be crying out, but
Did you want to share? No. Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Can I answer the first one?
You sure
Thank you. So I'm not, because I want us all, I'm in class, right? I could just sit here and take talking about okay.
Thank you. Because I also am a Virgo, so I pre-read it. Not before today, but
Yeah.
half Virgo. I'm all Virgo, but I do what I want. Oh, can you share an experience when you had to overcome your own social anxiety? Oh, I'm doing it right now. Hey, what's up? I'm awkward as a mug. Yo, stuff had happened. Alright? Somebody was saying they lost 30 pounds earlier at the table. And I didn't say it out loud. But I'll say it out loud now because what I've been wanting to tell y'all, which everyone inspires me all the time, and everything inspires me all the time, and all my friends have heard me say this, and I'll say it over and over again because Zora wants me to. If you are silent about your pain, they will kill you and say you enjoyed it. If you are silent about your pain, they will kill you and say that you enjoyed it. Meaning, if you don't spout off and talk your shit and talk about you and what you going through and whenever you feel like it, like respect, whatever, okay? We're not going to just, shit on, that's not going to work. But we get to tell our stories out here. This is what I was brought here for, is what I'm finding out. And that's what helps me deal with my social anxiety and so many other things. My homies, Alma, that texted me ad nauseum when I was losing weight. That's what I wanted to tell you. I lost 30 pounds. I lost 50 pounds. And I just gained 30. I'm so proud. I look in the mirror every day now. I'm like, oh. But when I look at the photos, and everybody wants to use these photos, but I was outside all skinny and shit, so that's on me, getting pictures taken. When they come back to me now with the past years of, we can call it trauma, crises, PTSD, the most horrible things you never thought you would go through, them type things that are happening in real time with your son or your mom or you or your partner or this, and you ain't, you're not really, we feel bad. I'm not like, I still feel bad even though I'll say most things, okay, that's what I do. But when I was in that moment and my chest was a washboard, talk about social anxiety. Oh man, I've been in social anxiety mode that I never thought I would even go back there again after being such a shy teenager, not being able to talk to nobody, and then becoming this person that talks to everybody and anybody now. But I'm gonna tell you really, we dropping F-bombs in here, or was it?
we wrong.
You mind? Look, concept, no. It really destroyed me. I let it destroy me. I've been letting it destroy me. I am actively, I don't mind telling you, I am actively getting myself more and more together. Listening to matriarchs that says something like Alma said, one of my dearest friends is 78, Marlene on my blog, and she said, hey Urs, I know you gotta take your time losing your mom, everything that's happened, And I know, you in your room and stuff, but I mean, I'm saying, don't stay in there too long. Because there's a lot of people out here that's so glad you staying in your room.
Lord, that sentence right there. That sentence right there. There are so many people that are happy when you stay stuck. When you stay stuck, if you knew how many people celebrated that, sometimes it's your so-called friends. Sometimes it's the people you hang around, you go out, smile, hey, how you doing? It's a lot of them too. It's crazy if you knew how many people are happy because you stayed stuck. So we definitely have to find a way to move on and move through that. Crazy, right? Anyone else want to answer that question? The first one, can you share an experience when you had to overcome your own social anxiety?
I want to touch on it real quick. So, it's really interesting, right? Because throughout my childhood, personally, I've always been like a pretty social kid. I've always been, when you watch the movies or the TV show, and there's always that super dorky, soft kid who just wants to be friends with everybody and bunnies and rainbows, but they live in the hood, so it can't be like that. So, I was one of those. I was one of those kids growing up. So, I've always dealt with social anxiety kind of on a comparison complex kind of level. I'm not sure if anybody else kind of has dealt with that comparison complex. And usually I feel really confident and I have a lot of audacity in life and I can be very, very fearless. But sometimes I'll get in a room and I'm like, oh, that person's more fearless and that person's more capable and that person is more this. And one of the things I've always struggled with is comparing myself to people who have never struggled. Right, so I want to give you a personal experience that just happened recently. So I had these amazing friends and a production company kind of approached me and they said, hey, we want to do this Women's International project. We're going to highlight women athletes in sports. Hopefully we can get this to the NBA. Hopefully we can get this to the Olympics this year. I was like, what? That's incredible. Sure, I'd love to do it. So here I am, a girl from North Philly. I don't have a car right now. I'm in the middle of couch surfing. So I got to catch a Greyhound to New York and I'm going to New York City, but the shoot is in Brooklyn. So I'm like, how am I going to do all of this? My funds ain't funding right, So I get to New York and I start meeting some of the production team and they drive me to Brooklyn. And I remember just being in the car like, wow, these women are the same age as me. They have these boss careers. They have their own cars. They have their own man. They have their own apartment, their own houses. And I cannot compete. Like I don't know what I'm doing in this car. We get to the location and we have the most amazing shoot. But as we're in the shoot, my anxiety is at an all-time level. These people have graduated. They have went to the best schools. They have both parents in their lives. They come from money. They don't worry about a bill. And I was just sitting there like imposter syndrome started kicking in. And it's just like, what is this girl from North Philly wearing these cargo pants and this flannel? And, I had to do my hair. What am I doing here? I think I might be trying to, chew more than I can bite. And I remember someone just coming up to me, one of the young ladies, just very randomly, and she was just like, you're supposed to be here. We all have different stories. You have your story for that particular, you have no idea how many kids out there don't want to do what they believe they can because they don't believe they have the resources. They don't believe they have the support. They don't believe they have the audacity, the will, the talent. So for me in that moment, it was definitely a relief. It was very encouraging, but it also was just like, I recently posted something where I was just like, sometimes we don't have to know what the next step is. A lot of us don't know what we're doing. Therefore, I don't know if we can necessarily believe what we're doing. You just gotta keep doing it. And my example was, you're all paying some random person rent right now. Can you believe it? But you're doing it anyway. You can't believe it, but you're doing it anyway. And that would be my tip to you, despite the upbringing, despite the circumstances, you don't even have to believe it, but you have your story, you have your purpose for a reason. There's a crowd, there is an audience for every single one in this room.
Yes. Don't waste no more time comparing yourself to nobody.
Girl, no.
Don't, nobody. Like, it is an exercise in futility. Do not compare yourself to anybody. You are you. Only you can be you.
Oh.
And be resolute in that.
And I want to say thank you to that because the video made it to the NBA.
All right.
And everybody got some kind of struggle, even if you don't see what it is. So don't tell yourself that lie either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's difficult. Don't get me wrong. It's difficult not to compare.
Yeah, I think we all do it on some level, but it is very important to understand that, like no two snowflakes, you are uniquely divine, and you are the only you.
Yes.
There's only one of you.
Yes.
8 billion people on this planet right now. We're orbiting in space. We don't think of it like that, but we are in space right now, moving, thank you, gravity. But 8 billion people are being born right this moment, and people are exiting to the next, whatever's next. But you are divinely unique. And even in moments when you talk about imposter syndrome, I think probably we've all experienced it at one point or another. I don't care how successful, how much money you have, I don't care. So my core business is I do artist development, media coaching. And I worked with a sister who is a CEO of a major corporation, gorgeous, but I think all people's standards. She's a very pretty sister inside out. And she told me, I suffer from imposter syndrome. She has a PhD, okay? She's a doctor, so very educated, world-traveled, successful entrepreneur. But she was like, I suffer from imposter syndrome, and I don't know how to get through it, beyond it. And I was like, girl, well, you know what? Keep winning, keep your wins, recognize your wins, work on those areas where you feel diminished, shortchanged, where there's room for improvement. Make a list. I do this with my clients. Let's go good and bad, the positive, negative. And also do a set of goals, a set of where you want to go. No, we don't always know where we're going, but it's nice to have a sense of direction. If we were to drive to New York right now, it would be important to know that we got to go 95 north instead of going 95 south. So having the sense of direction. And the other thing I think is important for us to do as individuals is to create a mantra, a statement of encouragement and support when you are feeling diminished. Whatever it is something that you create to encourage, to uplift yourself when you know you're diminished and you're down. And like I made the analogy of having a gas tank that's empty. Well, me, when I'm feeling empty with my tank, I'm looking for high octane premium gas to fill my tank.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, but you know, sometimes it's a little word. It's a little reach out. It's a little I'm thinking of you. It's a little what you said really. That's what she wrote me back and said that, and I was like, okay. And it gave me even more excitement about seeing her. And so, you know, we are ambassadors of goodwill for ourselves and for others as well. So important to share the love. And I want to say, Rashida, thank you so much. When I mentioned my son, this was his other mother, whenever he was going through it, he would reach out. And thank you so much for that, Rashida.
And I just want to leave with an affirmation really quick. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. Yep, because right after that, we're
It's
going
10
to
seconds.
go into a break while Nikki Powerhouse sings her song.
Self-appreciation is not a privilege. It is not a reward. It is a birthright.
Right.
All right. So you just remember that. Keep that in mind at all times. That's all.
Yes. And practice saying kind, loving things to yourselves. We have way more practice saying horrible things to ourselves about ourselves.
Yes, we do.
So that's why they call it a meditation practice. That's why they call it a yoga practice. You gotta practice. Practice saying loving, kind things to yourselves.
Girl, where's pretty?
But if you work in the music business, Music Cares is a resource.
Yes.
This is for people who are, you know, our event today has been organized by music industry people, but musiccares.org. If you can demonstrate that you have worked in the music industry in some shape, form, or capacity, it doesn't have to be on the mic or in front of the camera, hairstylist, makeup artist, whatever, manager. If you need mental health help, you can go, or drug addiction assistance, housing assistance. I had a girlfriend write me last year, she said, I have 33 cents in my checking account. She said, I have 33 cents. She had no job, no husband, no children, no family. She felt isolated, and I introduced her to Music Cares. They paid 3 months of her bills. Gave her a lifeline, and all she had to do was demonstrate that she had worked in the music industry. So musiccares.org.
Write that down.
And all you have to do is demonstrate financial need, and they help. It is a division of the Recording Academy, which is better known as the Grammy organization. So I just want to, and that's just Music Cares, but there are social services in this city, in Philadelphia as well, if you are in need of mental health care. Sister, you were going to say something.
I could ask a question. I want to know, with all those videos that are being made for all the different artists, why can't they just donate some mansions? I mean, all this money that's being made. There needs to be a better equality system, like Taraji P. Henson. She was talking about how, you know, you're talking about the life ain't life, and she was talking about how bills weren't getting paid because there wasn't an equitable system put in place. So let's talk about that when it comes to black women. And I'm sure there's other cultures that are working in these industries, and they're getting paid millions. And I'm like, well, where's these millions coming from for them? And when
But Monique said the same thing, and but again, fat black women, okay, but then somebody with a smaller frame said it, and now we listening. So again, it's like we can't, we gotta listen to black women and not when they just look a certain way.
There's an equity, there's a lot of inequity. We have to continue to fight.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yes.
And that needs to be addressed.
Absolutely.
Can I say this? And I don't want anyone to get offended by this, but when you continue to accept what they offer, that's a problem too. When you keep sipping the Kool-Aid and now it's too much sugar in the juice for you.
Can they paint you out to be
And I'm speaking
for
of
advocating?
this Taraji P. Henson now, because she accepted for years the money that they offered her. Now, because you are at a different place in your career, that you feel the need for them to give you the respect that you're asking for. But if you were demanding it from the start, see, that's the difference. Sometimes we don't demand it from the start, and we think that we're supposed to just accept it because we're black. But if you know where you come from, period, then you will know your worth. So for that, because like Frenchie said, Monique was talking about that forever, about not getting the proper pay. There were other female black actresses that were speaking about it years ago.
Viola Davis said it.
She said about 5 or 6 years ago, when she just not too long ago had got that job.
Yeah, and she said, y'all keep calling me the Black Meryl Streep, then hate me like Meryl Streep.
Exactly. So we have to stop. We have to start knowing our worth for that aspect. I do understand what you're saying. The resources is out there. Are we searching for the resources like we should though too? Because we can't just keep passing the buck. And sometimes we're going to have to accept some of the junk ourselves. We've allowed some of these things to happen. I remember Billie Holiday, she said they wanted her to come to California to do this acting. And she wanted to ride the plane like everybody else. You want me to travel on the road? You want me to drive to get to California from New York? Sorry. You know what she did? She finally got able to be on the plane, and they sent for her on the plane to California to do the job that she said she would never do, and that was be a maid. But she did the part of a maid in the thing. My point is, she held out. She didn't say, I'm going to drive to LA from New York. Y'all sent for the rest of them, you can send for me. And that's what happened. They sent for her because they wanted her to do that part.
Right.
So sometimes we got to stop thinking we're not worth the monies that's out there, because we really are. We're the first. We've always been the first. People always want to be like us. Everywhere. Everywhere.
That's right.
They know our worth. They know what we're worth. Now we have to start seeing it in the mirror ourselves. We are worth everything that is owed to us, or even we're worthy of it. Because we was here first.
We're gonna take this quick break. I'm gonna have our lady right here, Carla Gamble, introduce. Who's coming up next? Give it up for Carla, you guys.
This conversation is just exactly what oh man, it's so good. I really appreciate all of this good energy. We are going to have Nikki Powerhouse. How can I explain Nikki? Nikki is a force. Immediately. I mean, when you meet her, we were just talking about just our connection, how we've been just like really taking a look at each other within ourselves. Every time we see each other, like, wow, we here, sis, we doing it. We doing what we need to do. She has a book that she wrote. The softest part of her is everything. So please pick it up and support that. So I am going to give it to my sister, Nikki Powerhouse. Welcome, Maria.
To get to the other side. Sometimes you gotta go through, sometimes you gotta go through. Sometimes you gotta go through something to get to the other side. Sometimes you gotta go through something to get to the other side. Sometimes you gotta go through. Sometimes you gotta go through. Sometimes you gotta go through something to get to the other side. Sometimes you gotta go through to get to the other side. She is skin and she is woman and skin that sometimes break, but she keeps going. She's woman and skin that sometimes break, but she keeps going. She was a seed planted in rough places, but still to grow and be a flower. Her battle scars would be written in thunder and thrive. She remembered nights, long nights, where she found herself in white corner walls, all of her scattered self on hardwood floors, while she held her head in defeat. She's seen better days, where her smile would light up a room, would be her leading lady. But this, sometimes it gets different sometimes. She remembers little girl when she sat and spoke to her mother, "Mommy, why you always crying?" And with a quick and sharp tongue, "Because they're my tears, I can do whatever I want with them." And it was then in her little girl self that she remembered that she could own her feelings, and that sometimes even when she breaks, she's still whole and complete. Even when she breaks, she's still whole and complete. Even when she breaks, she's still whole and complete. And even in skin, she keeps going. And she remembers her mother who once told her, "Sometimes you gotta give your tears permission to fall as you say kind words to them. Give them permission to fall. For those are the tears that will set you free. Those are the tears that will give you permission to be. Those are the tears that will connect you back to be. The God is in you. Those are the tears that will write your love letters across your skin. They are the tears that will keep you going over and over again. They are your tears. So be in skin that sometimes break, but you got to keep going. out power. Ain't I a woman type magic? Ain't I more than enough type magic? Women who write the love letters across their skin that reads, be kind to me. You don't know where I've been. Black girl magic, you so magic, you so magic, black girl. You've learned to love yourself on days you don't feel like it. You've learned to love yourself unapologetically authentic. You are the daughters of ocean waters. You find strength in your tears and soft and hard places. Now all of your mirrors reflect light. So your swag should be exemplified. You see yourself the way that the goddess in you see you. Now that is perfect sight. Black girl, you're magic. You're the reason why we keep going. A reflection of you is in me. We are the same, black girl. We are the same. We awake the same power, the same I am, the same joy, the same love, the same possibility. Black girl, you are me, I am you, black girl. Black girl magic, you so magic, you so magic, black girl. Where time had no meaning. We were the sum of galaxies and God's breath. Infinity orbited the earth and created itself into an umbilical cord. So all of human life would embody her DNA. We are limitless. Some of us didn't think we would make it this far. We thought our four corners was as far as we could dream. But I had grandparents that visit me at night so that I could see the rainbows in the dark. She passed down stories holding up the mirrors in front of me. You have to speak the thing into existence, child. You have to speak it into existence. Dumb bones are gold. Dumb bones are gold. That I am my great-grandmother's laughter. The sound of her voice cradles me in my night dreams. And when I look at her, she inspires me to reach deep, deep, deep down inside me to paint the sky tangerine. She tells me, she tells you, each and every one of you, hand-plucked from heaven's branches and sown into Mother's Earth soil, to sprout, to bloom. Children, she said, remember your first name. Remember, shaped and saturated in the stars, reflecting perfect light. You painted in gold, outlined in silver. Your smile alone is the sunrise. You carved into sculptures of undeniable power. Children, she said, remember your first name, and they will ask you your name. And know that it will never lose yourself because it hides itself in your backbone. So every time that you speak, the ancestors will guide you. Remember your first name. Your first name is I am. Your last name is power. Your first name is I am, your last name is healing. Your first name is I am, your last name is possible. Your first name is I am, your last name is goddess. Your first name is I am, your last name is spirit. Your first name is I am, your first name is I am, your first name is I am, your first name is I am. Children, they will ask you your first name around the globe, on board meetings, in the schools, and all the places. They will ask you, know that you will never lose your voice. It hides itself in your back. Every time that you speak, know that the ancestors will carry you. And when they ask you, children, when they ask you, it may come out as a whisper, but it will thunder. And when they ask you, children, you tell them your first name is. Your first name is. Your first name is. And you cannot forget it because you, each and every one of you are to go out there to tell the others their first name. I am. Thank you for having me. I wrote the softest part of her.
Welcome to the healing circle, y'all.
I need to say this out loud. I am a poet. I've always been. And I'm now taking ownership of the lane that I'm in. And along the journey, I have compared myself, I have doubted myself, and I have blocked me from me. And now I have unearthed all those gifts, and I have an assignment with me. And I want you to understand that the power of vulnerability is your breakthrough. Healing has been my greatest reward. And I'm not going to stop. I'm going to know that this is a part of the journey. The whole thing is worth it. No matter what you go through, no matter what has come up, my mother is now my ancestor, and I believe that that woman went up yonder and threw out everything that I told her in secret, because ain't no way that from the time that I let her know all the things that I was going through, that I am now standing with people that I have cried with, that I have compared myself to, that I have cried on dance floors. I mean, my God.
30th Street.
Thank you. I take cash back and,
In my opinion, it's the combination of being an artist, being all these things, and remembering that you can have all this and still say, this is my book. This is what you're going to get. This is the embodiment of the power of healing. Usher.
Make sure y'all get that book, okay? Oh, wow. Okay, so I just want to thank everyone for joining us. Okay. Okay. So as we come to a closing, we did want to take a few questions, if you have any, to ask the panelists. And yeah, so if you guys have any questions, I will go around, Roxi will come around, pass the mic. Yeah. Oh, yes, resources, come on.
Hi everybody, my name is Dr. Simone, I'm a clinical psychologist. I want to thank everybody. This is a beautiful panel, amazing. Nikki, amazing poems, amazing. So I just wanted to share with y'all some resources for therapy services. So for the men in the room, Black Men Heal, I volunteer for them. I've been volunteering for them since 2017. We provide 8 free sessions for Black men in our community. So please sign up, it's free. And you can continue with your therapy if you so choose. Also, Black Men Hill has extended this to women in a sense. We don't provide free therapy sessions for women yet, but there is a support group called Heal With Him. So every Saturday morning from 11 to 12, they have a support group, different topics. We talk about trauma, anxiety, setting boundaries, all of the things. So yes. So please, follow Black Men Hill, then also follow Heal With Him. And then also for just general therapy resources, psychologytoday.com is a very wonderful resource. So yes, girl, we be doing it. So with that, you can actually look up a therapist within the community based on your insurance, based on your needs, based on things like race and gender and problems that you have that you want to address in therapy. So I just wanted to provide that resource before I left. You're welcome. You're welcome. So, the resources are out there. We just have to go and get them. But please know and understand that we are here to support y'all. We love y'all. And yeah, thank you. You could just go, if you have Instagram or any type of social media, you can just type in Heal With Him. If you're interested in participating in the support group, it is free. And psychologytoday.com is the other resource. And for the men in the room, Black Men Heal, same thing, Instagram and social media, the website as well. You just Google those things, it should come up too.
Thank you. So for short on time, we're not going to do the questions, but I would like to encourage everyone to these beautiful, amazing women to get their Instagram, to talk to them, to just mingle and network for a bit before we have to get out of here. We are coming. So me and my partner for Voices of Philly Soul, we did the Punchline Philly, February 25th. We brought in Women's Month, which is March. An all-female lineup. It was an amazing show. Then we came to the Kimmel for the Mental Health Awareness Panel. And now to close out, we are going to be at World Cafe Live on Thursday. Okay, Voices of Philly Soul Women's Edition. I see a lot of the artists that are going to be on this ticket in the room. Okay, so please come out, support the women, continue to bring the, I don't want people to think that this is just for women to support women, because yes, we love them, but we want the men to come out. We want the fellas to support the women with things that we do, as we will continue to support them. So you guys can follow me at The Real Carla Gamble on Instagram and Facebook, and you can see where you can find the links to the upcoming shows that we have, but especially Work Cafe Live on Thursday. All right, so thank you all so much. Give it up for Carla.
And the Kimmel Ensemble Arts.
Yes, thank you.